Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to What Would Dorcy Do? I'm Dorcy Pruder, the CEO and founder of the Conscious Co-Parenting Institute, and I'm excited to be coming to you live this weekend to talk to you a little bit about some legal strategies, if you will, for dealing with the family dynamic known as parental alienation. And we've had a lot of inquiries in the last couple of months, and really a lot of people posting on social media about how to prove parental alienation in court. And we run the Alliance. You're probably watching from the Alliance, and we see a lot of people still confused about parental alienation being a diagnosable pathology, or now the flavor du jour is to use the symptoms, if you will, that Richard Gardner put forward and the experts who follow that model. And the problem with that is that those are not diagnostic indicators based on already accepted constructs in psychology. So you suffer from the same problem that you suffered from before when you're trying to prove this family dynamic or this pathology called parental alienation. It's not a diagnosable pathology. And there is no amount of, masking that gets around that issue. And the courts are certainly more savvy than they used to be. And even more so, the pathology, the pathogenic people are more savvy, and they understand that parental alienation isn't a diagnosable pathology. And the pathology is really great at splitting. And the entire professional community is split. And you have the naysayers against alienation, you have the alienation experts, and then you have the practitioners who are operating under the already accepted constructs of child psychological abuse and the understanding of personality disorders. And then you have parents who are caught somewhere in the middle. And then you have the advocates who really believe that there's no such thing and as abuse, just in general, regardless of what you label it. And today I want to talk to you about a legal strategy that we use here at the Conscious Co-Parenting Institute to really work with our clients and lawyers and really helping you advance your case forward and really solve this problem, which is a psychological abuse problem, right? It's a family dynamic that should be solved in a therapeutic environment and not in a legal environment. However, most of you find yourself caught up in the family court system, so a legal environment that adds fuel to a fire and doesn't really understand what the problem is and what to do about it. And then there are all the mental health providers, or the lion's share of mental health providers surrounding family court, who don't know anything about what the problem is and how to actually solve it. And you have the divided front. You have the experts who believe in parental alienation and are doing everything they possibly can to make that valid, because their expertise is valid based on this new form of pathology. And then you have all the other mental health providers who don't believe that the pathology exists. They have no idea what does exist, and they ignore all the actual diagnostic symptoms of child psychological abuse, and they reinforce the abuse. And then you have the people who just don't believe in anything, right? The mental health providers and the legal system who believe in just empowering children to make decisions for themselves. And so you're in this quagmire. This is a really big problem that so many people are suffering with, and so many people don't have a solution for. And they keep coming to us seeking the same old, and we don't operate that way. And people come to us and they disappear for a long time, and then they come back worse off than they did when they came to us in the first place, really, really suffering because they didn't listen. So I want to put this out to you guys today, because there's a solution. There's an easy path to the solution, and there's a solution. And what I want to talk about is a couple of things. One, everybody calls us all the time asking for referrals for mental health providers who will do the proper assessment. We don't know them, okay? We have a very, very finite number of mental health providers that we are aware of, that we work closely with, but there aren't many. Okay, we don't know, and we don't make recommendations for mental health providers for this reason, because even the few that we've worked with in the past that say they will do it don't necessarily do it. So while Dr. Childress has laid out a beautiful assessment and diagnostic model that leads to child psychological abuse and a solution, they're still not following it. They're not doing their job. But that's his dog. That's his dog in the fight, right? That's his battle, getting mental health up to par. Then getting the legal community up to par, that's a job for the bar, right? We're in between the mental health community and the legal community. We understand what's happening in the family. We understand based on analyzing evidence and data. We know what's happening based on the diagnostic symptoms present in your data. And when we work with our clients, we organize and tag the data based on the pathology, the diagnosable pathology in the family, not this illusionary pathology called parental alienation. We look at actual diagnostic symptoms accepted by the DSM-5 for child psychological abuse. Okay. Then we go further out and we look at who's causing it. Is it mom, dad, or both? Who's causing the problem? Sometimes it's both of you. Sometimes it's a pathogenic parent and then a destabilized parent who's reacting pathogenically to the pathology. It happens. Doesn't mean you're pathogenic. It means a lot of times parents get destabilized and that's how they respond. Our job when we work with our clients is to get you up to par, to help you stop reacting the way you've been reacting and show up differently for your children. And also to put the data together and the narrative together for your lawyer so they understand what's happening in your family from a therapeutic perspective. What's the pathology that's happening? And then more importantly, once we see what's happening, what do we do about it? What's the legal remedy that involves a therapeutic response to recover your children? Okay, that's the proper protocol. What's happening? What do we do about it? Do it. All right. The problem with the community surrounding family court right now, the therapeutic community, is they're not following any kind of an assessment protocol. Or if they're doing any kind of an assessment, they're misdiagnosing your children because you go in saying it's parental alienation and the other parent is saying you're an abuser. So now we've got two parents on opposite sides and the child caught in the middle. And the therapists are not analyzing the data properly. They're not properly assessing and diagnosing. And if you're using the vernacular of parental alienation, if you're using Richard Gardner's, 17 symptoms or 8 or whatever they are, that is a failed model. Okay. It is a failed model. I don't care what you call it. It doesn't work. You're leaving the decisions up to an incompetent mental health provider. You're leaving the fate of your children and your family in the hands of somebody who may or may not believe in parental alienation. And even if they do, even if they're like, this is what it is, and we see the symptoms, that is not a diagnosable pathology. So you keep getting lured into this belief system that the therapist understands and they see what's going on. And I can't tell you time and time and time again how many people come to us with a report written by a Gardnerian therapist or professional that's completely useless. It's useless. You are asking the court to remedy a made up diagnosis. It's made up. Doesn't matter if we know what parental alienation is. It's not a real pathology. Okay, it isn't. It is not a real diagnosis. I don't care how many times they say it is. It is not. That is a fact. Okay, that's a fact. That's not my opinion. It's a fact. Doesn't matter how many research articles these people have written for each and then reviewed for each other to make parental alienation a diagnosable pathology. It's not. It isn't. Okay, child psychological abuse is a diagnosable pathology. That's a diagnosable problem. Okay. An attachment disorder, that's diagnosable. Okay. An encapsulated persecutory delusion, a delusional disorder, that is a diagnosis. That's a diagnosable pathology. That's in the DSM-5. Okay. Those are real diagnoses. Now you might say, well, you're just splitting hairs because some of the symptoms are same. No, you have to pick a lane that provides a solution. I'm not splitting hairs. You must go with what is actually accepted. Now, we've had people get reports, we've had people go to court, and we've had the judges agree with them that they believe that it's parental alienation, and they get a court order, and the court order is shared parenting. The court order is you may get full legal and physical custody, but the other parent is getting visitation. And so the kid still has to go back into a psychologically abusive home. Okay? That is not a solution. Okay, that's not a solution. And a savvy pathogenic parent will appeal that order because they know, because trust me when I tell you, the negative advocates are touting it all day long. Parental alienation is junk science, right? They will appeal the order, and they are turning those orders over in the appeals court. Okay? This is a problem because you want to bring both to the table, and you must pick a lane. I have a whole hour and some talk on our YouTube channel about, I think it's called Pick a Lane, and filmed that a few years ago, and we still have the issue. I'm bringing this to you today because clearly it's still a problem. It's a problem because there's a certain subset of people who are trying to remain relevant as experts in the family dynamic known as parental alienation. It's rubbish, guys. It doesn't solve the problem. Great. You have all these experts in this made up pathology, this whole new pathology, new to all of psychology. No, there's already an accepted construct in psychology. Okay. Child psychological abuse is the diagnosis that you're looking for. Now you still have a problem because you don't have mental health providers supporting you. This is a real problem. It's a real problem. So people call us, you may be like, well, who can, I don't know. I don't know where you are. I know the mental health providers. They aren't doing it. Okay. They're not properly assessing and diagnosing, which is being used out treatment, leaving your children caught in the middle. First, you have to get out of the fire that you jumped into, out of the frying pan. So the frying pan is this misconception, this misunderstanding of the pathology of the family dynamic called parental alienation. And then you jumped into the fire and you're struggling, spinning all over the place, trying to find somebody outside of you, resources out here, a mental health provider to properly assess and diagnose. They're not doing it. I don't know who is doing it. They're not doing it yet. Dr. Childress's work has been out for a long time and still not doing it. Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about two things. I want to talk about the ABAB single case design using the high road as a assessment and remedy to your family situation. Okay. So the high road is a 4-day augmented workshop that is facilitated by me and somebody on my staff or some of our coaches to transition your children to living back with you once there's a protective order in place with the court. Okay. This isn't an easy task. It's not easy to get that. So don't think you're going to just call us and get that. Also, we vet your family. So if you want a high road, you have to go through an intake process. You must fill out the intake form. You have to schedule a paid consultation with me. I'm the only one that determines whether your family will even go to the next level of being able to qualify for the high road and work with your lawyer to get there. Okay. So don't ask my team. They're not going to give you the information. We're not going to email it to you. We are very, very specific about the intake process for a reason. Not everybody qualifies and not everybody needs it. Everybody thinks they need it, but you don't necessarily need it. But you can use this ABAB single case design model with a protective order as a remedy, as an assessment and remedy to your family dynamic. And briefly, what it is if you get a court order with a no contact order with the other parent, which is challenging, but easier once you frame up your case properly with child psychological abuse, even without an assessment, okay? A lot of times, you're not going to get the assessment. You're not going to get the mental health provider on board. So you're left to your own devices. And if you go down the old rabbit hole of the Gardner parental alienation failed model, you're just going to be spinning your wheels and money and wasting your time and energy. So the ABAB, A is where your family is and has been for a while, and your children continue to suffer. You continue to suffer. With this B, that's the first B phase, we're moving your family into a protective separation. So the children are protected from the parent who's psychologically abusing the children and placed with you. Okay. Now, if your kids are really alienated, right, they're really rejecting you, they're really struggling, they're having a really hard time being in relationship with you, you're going to need an augmented process to your long-term treatment care. You need a family systems therapist who's going to work with your family. Okay, this is somebody outside the legal system. This isn't the people that are currently working in there's a handful, not very many, that are currently working in the system. You need an actual family systems therapist who understands the family system. It's a whole family problem. It requires a whole family solution. Okay. Then if you have the high road, that is a 4-day augmentation to the long-term treatment plan. Okay. We come in and we stabilize your children and you, and we resurface the unbreakable bond. Okay. And we create a scenario that's comfortable and safe for you and your children to learn to be in relationship together again. You learn communication skills and conflict resolution skills. You learn how to be in relationship back in normal range together. Then you go back into the family systems therapy with the family systems therapist who we would provide training for with regards to our protocol. So they understand this is what's happened in your family, this is what we did, and this is what their long-term care is. That person will also work with the other parent. So this isn't about elimination, it's about integration. Okay. I don't care what all the flying monkeys say and all the crazy people who say crazy things about us. That's just simply not true. We are not about eliminating parents. All right. It's about integrating. It's about a child protection issue, not a child custody issue. And when children are being abused, physically, sexually, or emotionally, psychologically, we protect all abused children all the time, period. We protect children from child abuse. We rehabilitate and reintegrate over here with you, and we rehabilitate the other parent over here, separate from you, but that's still a fractured family. It's still a split family dynamic. When the child is ready and the parent is ready, then the family systems therapist reintegrates in the controlled environment, that parent with the children. And we're monitoring the children to make sure that the children are ready and can handle the parenting practices of this other parent. Okay. Sometimes this parent doesn't do the work. Okay. In some cases, that parent literally walks away. Those are the most tragic cases. Sometimes the parent does a little bit of the work, but the protective separation, the child has learned to be in relationship with both parents. They're learning the skills and they're able to withstand the pathology of the other parent, the pathogenic parenting of the other parent. Sometimes they stay in supervised parenting and sometimes they move to shared parenting. Okay, so it depends on your family and everybody's ability to get on board and learn the skills. Now, we've done A, we've done B, which is a protective separation and the rehabilitation. The second A is the reintroductory, right? This parent to the children. Okay, that's the second A. And we test. If the children are doing great, we've solved the problem. ABA, we're done, right? They keep moving to the next level. Sometimes the reintroduction of this parent's parenting caused the children to go back to pre-workshop behavior. Okay. Then we know we need a second B, a second protective separation period. The children need a little bit more time, and this parent needs more time to master the skills. Okay. That's how it works. ABAB single case design. Your lawyers can use this as an assessment and remedy to the problem. Okay. You're assessing the situation. It inspires this parent who's causing the problems to get on board to end it in the second A. It inspires them to do the work. Okay. ABA. But if the children fall back down to pre-workshop, then we know that it's this parent causing the problems when we introduce the parent. So if you don't know, that's what you do. Okay. There's no harm if this parent is a normal range parent, placing the child with this parent. This is where the pathology splits and tries to create a mindset that there's something wrong here and we can't leave the child there. That's simply not true. The child is okay with this parent. This parent is not. The other parent is not okay with this parent. All right. So the goal is to integrate, not eliminate. Children love both parents. Despite how you might feel about the other parent or how they might feel about you, your children love both of you. And in some of these cases we work on, we have two parents that are dysfunctional. This happens. This happens. The goal is to educate and rehabilitate the parents so that they can reintegrate with their children. That's the goal. If you look at any child protection model, that's the model. That's what they use. That's the model that Child Protective Services uses to rehabilitate families and reintegrate when they remove children from abusive homes. It's not like one and done, you're out and goodbye. They try to rehabilitate the parents to reintegrate the children, because we all know it's a fundamental truth that children love their parents, both of their parents. It is only in this family dynamic that we see children reject normal range parents. And even abusive parents. It's only in this family dynamic where a child is suffering from severe psychological abuse. This is where we see it. We know this is true. It's been proven over and over and over again. And yet in the family court system, it gets ignored over and over and over again. The pathology wants you to fight for the made up pathology of parental alienation. They want you to trump that into court and drag that through the court system, because they know that it is a delay tactic. They're sneaky. It was created in that mindset. Okay, that's what they want you to believe. They want you to split hairs. They want you to try and muddy the waters. They muddy the waters all the time, and they want you to stay in the sludge. And you, as the chosen parent, you're the parent that the children are choosing to step out of this family dynamic. They're choosing you because they know you're the healthier of the two parents. They know you're going to go the distance. They know you're going to do the work. They know you're doing the work. Okay? They're choosing you because they know you're the one to lead their family out of the pathology. They don't trust the family court system. They don't trust the lawyers. They don't trust the mental health providers because they failed them time and time and time again. They're listening to them, even though the child has no choice but to bring this false narrative forward. They're waiting for somebody that they can trust. They secretly trust and believe in you because they chose you. They know, even though it feels like they are rejecting you, they're pushing you to rise up. They're pushing you to step up and play a bigger game, to do the internal work so that you can recover them and their family. Divorce happens all the time. Divorce happens to a lot of families. It's not the divorce that's the problem. It's not the divorce that ends the family. The family is always the family. The divorce only ends the marriage, but you're always mom and dad, okay? Always, forever. And the family is always a family. We're moving from a intact family situation or family dynamic to a post-divorce separated family dynamic. It's still a family, still a family, okay? Forever and always. Even if you both get remarried, you're still a family. And the child still loves both of you, even if they protest that they don't. They absolutely do. They love you and they want you to do the work. Now, the ABAB single case design is a beautiful model that really helps you and your lawyer wrap a legal strategy around a family pathology that the family court doesn't really understand and that the mental health providers don't understand around family court. It's to circumvent the system, to circumvent the dysfunction in the system. Now, we created a program called the Custody Resolution Method years ago. I created this years ago, and we really work alongside you and your lawyer. And it is a wraparound program. And it's a whole family problem, whole family solution. We wrap around you. We review the data. We look at it from what's already accepted by the American Psychological Association, the symptoms that's in your data. We look at everything. Okay, we tag that data and we provide a narrative so that your lawyer understands this is what's happening and here's what you need to do about it. In the meantime, while we're doing all of that and working with your lawyer, we also provide a coach that works with you one-on-one to help you work through some of the emotional upheaval, the turmoil that you're dealing with when you're dealing with a pathogenic co-parent and also a child who's rejecting you. You're experiencing an emotional cutoff. That's the proper terminology. You're dealing with transgenerational trauma being imprinted down the family line. So we wrap around you and we provide coursework in that program to really stabilize you and educate you and get you prepared for whether you end up going to court or settling outside of court, which a lot of our clients do. They end up mediating these cases and really stabilize and help you shift how you're showing up, because your child needs that from you. They need you to shift how you're showing up so that you are ready for when they fold back in. Now, A lot of parents that do the custody resolution method and do that work end up not needing a high road. A lot of people come thinking they need a high road, and they do the work and recover their own family. You move through the process to recover your family. That's the goal. The goal isn't to get you to a high road. I'd prefer you not have to do a high road. I prefer that you get your kids recovered by you doing the work. That only takes one person, right? You, the leader, the chosen parent in your family, to do the work and shift how you're showing up. It's really, really important that you understand this critical component of picking a lane. If you fall down the parental alienation rabbit hole, you're going to be stuck in a dysfunctional system. And that is the plan, right? The plan is to keep you stuck. It does not provide a solution for you. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that helps you understand. A lot of you that are asking, is it this, is it that, is it this, is it that? No, it's not. It's child psychological abuse. There's a very easy process. It's very easy to see the diagnostic symptoms. It's very easy to understand that's what we do. But you're trying to explain it to the legal system. You're trying to get the legal system, trying to get the law to solve a mental health crisis in your family. They're leaning on the mental health providers that are surrounding the family court system. They're not motivated to solve it, by the way. They keep you tapped in. Let's keep coming back, right? And half of them have no idea what they're doing anyway. They don't even know how to solve it. Even if they believe in parental alienation, they don't know what to do. There's no such thing as reunification therapy. It's a made-up therapy. It's a made-up term. No such thing as reunification therapy, okay? We're not therapists. The high road is not therapy. It is a psychoeducational and coaching workshop. It's a skill building workshop, okay? We go through different media and exercises teaching you and your child skills, right? Communication skills, conflict resolution skills, how to be in a family together again. Normal range stuff, okay? Easy peasy. The family systems therapist works with you and your family long-term care. Family systems therapy is important. We don't know who assesses and diagnoses. So far, we haven't really found anybody that does it. And Dr. Childress, he's only licensed in California, but he doesn't live here anymore. And he can't do that for you guys. So you guys keep calling us like, how do I get Dr. Childress to do that? You don't, okay? He's living in Washington and he's writing reports for some people. But outside of that, you guys, you've got to follow a protocol and a process that works. And trying to get these people to do it right is a fool's errand. They're not going to do it, and they're not going to listen to you. I want to say one last thing about that, which is, if you've been following Dr. Childress's work, and you have the diagnostic indicator checklist, and you are like, I've taken this to the therapist, and, let me just tell you that when you find Dr. Childress's work or my work, and you go running into the therapist's office, and you're like, here's the diagnostic indicator checklist, and please read foundations. The first thing they're thinking is, how dare you tell me how to do my job? Secretly, what they're thinking is, oh, crap. They're going to discover that I don't know what I'm doing, and they're going to dig in their heels because they've been doing it for years and years and years and years and years. And to admit that they've been doing it wrong now with your family is not going to happen. They're not going to do that. And while some people may be trying to figure it out and learn some new things, they're certainly not going to admit it and open themselves up for a potential malpractice lawsuit, knowing that that they're practicing beyond the bounds of their competency. Okay, so they'll dig in their heels and they'll turn on you. And we've seen that time and time and time again. So the structure and the organization and working with people who know, here's how you communicate with them, this is what you need, here's how you do it, is really, really important. And that's where we come in. So it's 4th of July weekend. Some of you, maybe we have some of our clients that are getting their kids back, and they're spending the weekend, probably first time in a few years, with their children. So happy 4th of July weekend. I love 4th of July because it's about independence, and we really stand for you being a liberated sovereign being and you doing the work that you need to do in order to stand in that place of independence for yourself and within your family, and to lead your children to that space as well. So we are offering a 50% discount on all of our classes. So just the courses. If you do one of our coaching programs or custody resolution method, that is not included. But if you want to sign up for one of our online courses, then my team will put the link in the chat here, and the code is, I think it's July 50, all caps, July 50, and you can get 50% off of like our parenting course. We have a custody solutions course, which is just an online course. It's a little different. It's actually very different than the custody resolution method. Sort of a guided, like you can watch the modules, and there's some templates and stuff in that course. Higher purpose parenting. And Reunited. So if you have adult children, Reunited is a phenomenal course. It's based on the work that I really did with my own father, and also the work that we do with parents who have adult children. So the curriculum is really created out of the success that I've had in my own life, and also the success that our clients have had by using the skills learned in the Reunited course to reunite with their adult children. So with that being said, it was a little bit longer class today, or What Would Dorcy Do call today, 30 minutes. But I really felt like the information was really, really relevant, because we keep getting a lot of calls about these things, people looking for somebody to do an assessment and diagnosis, and being really frustrated with falling down the same old rabbit hole, or expecting the legal system to understand this family dynamic when the mental health providers surrounding family court don't even know. So if you're interested in hearing more about the custody resolution method, please, my team will put a link here. Please click that link to schedule a consultation with one of our strategists. They're happy to talk to you about the program more in depth and how that might apply to your situation. And I think that's it. So this weekend for your independence, if you have your kids, enjoy it. If not, spend time with people that love you. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Self-care is really, really important. You've got to be strong. You've got to be happy and healthy and whole. So when your kids fold back in, they're not trying to manage you. You are already managed. You've already worked yourself. If you have the opportunity to spend time with your nieces and your nephews this weekend, or friends with children, then please spend time with young people to fill your love cup with being that nurturing, kind, loving self that you are. So with that being said, remember, we always have to have peace in so that we can have peace out. Have a wonderful 4th of July weekend, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one, everyone. Bye for now.